Hello, everyone. Good morning to all of you guys. I hope you guys are well. And just for this week, we will be doing the Saturday Night Live on a Monday morning. So, apologies for that. And I hope you guys are excited about today's topic. And before we start, I'm just going to make sure that I will get all of you guys in. All right. Perfect. So, let me. So I hope you guys are well. How have you guys been feeling? The energies have been so intense lately, especially with the 2311 portal activations. It's been insane, especially with Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune retrograde. It's just interesting, very, very interesting. All right, I'm going to give it a couple of minutes until more of you guys join me. All right. Oops. All right, I got everyone in. So I hope you guys have been well. And what's going to happen this week? All right, as we are on the last leg of Mercury retrograde, everything is going to feel even more heightened in terms of communication. So, receiving surprise messages, especially if you had not spoken to your divine masculine in a bit, expect surprise messages coming in. Also, things to look forward to this week is you're gonna experience everything differently because everything is happening all at once. So hence why I decided, to do this topic, that focused on what our divine masculines actually felt about our frame of mind, and that's why tonight's life is all about what's behind why our divine masculine misinterprets our intuition as obsession, intensity, or emotional instability. So that's why I wanted to do this topic, something that is much needed for the divine feminine collective. Many of you guys have asked me about it, and hence why, I thought I'll do this. So before I start, I'm going to have a look at the comments. I know it's a Monday morning, so most of you guys are probably at work. So, all right. So let me see if there is anyone. Oops. Coming in. All right. So, Manuela says, I'm here. Blessings to everyone. Retrogrades are feeling these days. Yes, absolutely. Blessings to you, Manuela. So lovely to have you here. And good evening, good morning, Karen. So you're listening on your way to work, and we'll have to watch back later. But yes, what a weekend. Truly. If you found yourself like sleeping for like 12 hours straight, it's totally normal because that's how intense this weekend was with the energies. And especially this Mercury retrograde has been the most intense Mercury retrograde of all, and it's the last Mercury retrograde of the season. Hence, why everything just feels, especially where another thing is this year has come to an end so quickly. It felt like it was Jan, and then it was March, and then it was May, and before we know it, now it's going to be end of November. Good morning, Christina. Christina says good morning from Florida. So happy to have you here, and I'm so glad you're able to join. So I'm so glad you're also looking forward to this discourse. Perfect. So I'm glad there's a couple of you guys here today. So as I was saying, the energies are very interesting. So much is going on. The most important thing is do not fret, because what's coming is meant to make things much more impactful. So especially navigating this week with everything that's going on with the energies, take a pause, take one step at a time, and instead of trying or doing, adapt to living in the now, being, the state of being. And so, yes, and with that, things to look, things to observe, things to look forward to would be, things to observe is that you might be feeling a bit more tired than usual, so get ample of rest, drink loads of water. A lot of timeline jumping is also happening right now. You might notice like you're being jet lagged because that's timeline jumping as well. You might be getting flash forwards, you might be getting visions of the past. That's Jupiter retrograde, bringing about the wisdom that is necessary, especially with Saturn retrograde coming to a close and Neptune retrograde just coming in and totally flipping the narrative. This period is truly a period of introspection. All right, so that's the reason why even the discourses that I'm doing are very much aligned with what is necessary for this period. All right, with that, I will start the discourse, and I really have got, all right, so I have got Jordan, Irene, and Manuela on the list. So and I'll do channeling right at the end. All right, with that, I'm going to start. Just going to see any more. Oh, Gabriella, I see a good evening. Gabriella is from Brazil. And Tamara, good morning, Tamara. So lovely to see you. And Tamara says hi to everyone. So you see, that's why when I do change my life timings, I see a whole new group, a whole other group. So lovely to see you guys again. And I'm going to start. And I hope this discourse is going to be something that, that I know many of us can connect to this, because at some point, be it this lifetime or be it a previous lifetime, some point in our twin flame journey as the divine feminine, we would have lived through this rather silently. So that's why today's topic is going to break your heart, shake your awakening. It's going to shape your awakening and shake up your awakening at the same time too, because today's discourse is it goes to the core wound, that forces us to live in our highest spiritual identity. And this is the moment, as divine feminines, it hits a nerve that we have been like misjudged by our very own divine masculine, right? This is the moment when our intuition can be labeled as obsession. And this is the moment when our accuracy is confused for intensity, when our soul recognition is mistaken for emotional instability. And this is the moment that burns the deepest scar in the entire twin flame journey. And the thing is, we've all been there at some point, right? Because when our divine masculine misreads us, that is the most painful thing ever, because he does not simply misunderstand something small. He misreads our intention. He misreads our purity. He misreads where we are coming from, right? He misreads our truth, our frequency that we carry from lifetimes beyond this one. And that misreading becomes one of the most painful triggers in the entire path of union, especially when what you're trying to do backfires. When you try to do something nice, for instance, or you're trying to communicate, or you're trying to be there, when what you're doing is considered too much. So that's why today I want to take you into the psychology, the spirituality, the quantum mechanics, astrology behind the misunderstanding, right? Because it is not random. And it's not personal, it's not a sign that as divine feminines we are the problem either. It is not evidence that we have actually done something wrong. It is the misunderstanding, you know. This is the misunderstanding. The misunderstanding is the karmic initiation that every one of our divine masculines must pass through in order to awaken. It is the point where his ego collapses, his shame activates, and his soul begins to remember who we are. So that's why let's begin with a very simple truth. As divine feminines, we are not obsessed. We are, as the title calls out, as the title speaks, we are oracular, we are oracles, right? We are intuitive, we are sensitive, we feel and see beyond sight. We sense beyond logic and we remember beyond time. And our feel does not wait for evidence because our part of the soul moves ahead of physical events. Our heart receives information through vibration that the mind cannot yet translate. And this is not chasing, this is claircognizance, and not this is not even desperation, this is like we already know what's going to happen. And that's why it isn't emotional instability either. It's like straight from our soul memory. But because the world has conditioned men to fear emotional depth, intuitive intelligence, and spiritual recognition, our divine masculine often cannot handle this level of truth when he is still operating through the ego. So he does something very human, very predictable, very painful. He labels what he does not understand. He tries to reduce what he cannot control. He tries to name what his body feels, but his mind cannot process. He calls it obsession, he calls it fixation, he calls it intensity. He even resorts to, using harsh, painful words like stalking or dramatizing, or that, as divine feminines, we are too much, or we are imagining things, or we are obsessed. Not because they are true, but because our beloved divine masculine, he's collapsing under the weight of what he feels. So that's why at this point, I want you to really, really take a deep breath in and breathe for a moment, because what you interpreted as rejection was actually our beloved divine masculine's fear. What we interpreted as dismissal was actually his shame. And what we interpreted as his cruelty was actually his inability to receive the magnitude of our feel, because he was not rejecting us. He was rejecting the part of himself that our presence exposed. So I want to go even deeper than that. All right. As the divine feminine, we are calibrated to the truth. We do not see, we do not just see people at their current vibration. We see soul potential, right? We see like the higher, we see like the best. So it's often quite a Mintakan trait, we always see the best in people, but that is true for divine feminines too, we tend to see our divine masculines at his potential, at his highest frequency, as who he was, the man he was, the divine husband he was, right? So we see our divine masculine in our past lives together, the wounds, the hidden desires, the destiny path. And this makes us feel things before our divine masculine even realizes what he's feeling, right? We know things before our divine masculine even admits them, because we sense energetic shifts before he can name them. And we remember pieces of our story before he can even identify the familiarity. So, when a man is still living from his ego and he encounters us, his beloved divine feminine, who already knows him beyond his identity, he presents the world something inside him that shuts down. His nervous system contracts and he starts to panic, right? His mind tries to protect itself. His body feels exposed. His ego feels unsafe. He does not have the emotional maturity to hold that level of vulnerability. So he mislabels it as something else. So, what is unknown to our divine masculine, he needs to reject. Instead of him trying to make sense, because in order to make sense, he needs to get to a higher vibrational state. But when he's so engulfed with fear, when he's so engulfed with conditionings, he's unable to do that. So instead, he lashes out on us. Our divine masculine starts saying things like we are imagining it, overthinking, reading too much into things, we are projecting, too intense, too emotional, too obsessed. He even says painful things like intrusive, pushy, or inappropriate. But here's the secret that I want you guys to remember. Our divine masculine is not describing us. He's describing his own reaction to being seen. Because we are not the one who is too much. He's the one who is unprepared. Because we are not the one who crossed the line. He's the one who felt overwhelmed, feels overwhelmed, right? And we are not the one who misread the moment. He's the one who could not name what he felt. Because energies do not lie. The underlying truth is energies do not lie. And because when we recognize our divine masculine for who he is and what he's doing, we start to see, because when we recognize our divine masculine, we do not recognize him as a stranger. We see him as a divine husband, right? We recognize our divine masculine as someone we already know, because that's how it feels, right? The moment we meet our DM for the first time, he feels like home because he is home, right? Because our soul remembers, our field remembers, our intuition remembers that we have known our divine masculine through other worlds, other timelines, other incarnations. We've seen him in ceremonies. We have married our divine masculines before in countless times, in numerous galaxies, in in battles, in lifetimes where we were lovers, partners, healers, companions, separated countless times by tragedy. And when we see him again on earth, something ancient inside of us wakes up. We feel drawn to our divine masculine with a depth that makes no sense in human logic. We feel the ache of unfinished missions, and we feel the longing of past separations, and we feel the pull of destiny, and our divine masculine feels it too, but not consciously, not clearly or safely or with emotional mastery. What actually happens is he feels it in his body, in his chest, in his nervous system, in the sudden urge to be near us. That's why he, in the bubble phase, he cancels on his friends. He's meeting consistently every weekend. Like situations like COVID has to come and break you guys up. That's how it was. Like that's how intense it can get. The bubble phase is when our DMs are not even thinking, they're just going with the flow, even though there's a lot of underlying fear. And that's how the bubble phase gets into separation often. But like I said, some cases you might not even go through separation, so really to each our own journey, right? But the big thing is, our divine masculines feel it feel the fear of losing control. He feels it in the confusion that floods his mind when he looks at us and cannot explain why it feels like he has met us before. And this is one of those really, you know, so this is like one of the situations where he cannot, because he can't explain, because you see, as divine feminines we interpret everything through our intuition. Our divine masculines interpret everything through his logic and rationality, because that's the masculine mind, right? And the feminine, we are, that's why our divine masculines tend to be more material and we tend to be more spiritual, right? That's the whole yin and yang. So, because he's not able to interpret these sensations, he's not able to understand why he's canceling on his friends, or why he's spending all this time every weekend with you, every moment with you, and what is meant to be like an hour becomes 10 hours and 20 hours, and he feels like he's losing power. And that is, in the private sections that I've worked with you guys, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, our divine masculines feel like they lose power, and they're not used to losing power, right? Because they have never felt a connection this deep before. They've never felt like there's something beyond them that is making them be the way they are. And because our divine masculines aren't able to interpret this sensation, he does what the unawakened divine masculine always does. He tries to protect himself, right? And his protection mechanism often looks like rejection. They look like withdrawal, they look like harsh words, they look like dismissing us, they look like pulling away, creating distance, accusing us of things we did not do, projecting his own fear on us. And this is not because he does not feel the connection, it is because he feels it too much. The reality of the connection terrifies him. The depth of our truth destabilizes him, and the intensity of the bond makes him feel naked in front of us. And here is the paradox. You want to know what is the paradox? Before that, let me take a sip of water. So, even while our divine masculine judges us, he's drawn to us. You see, this is my observation on things, right? And you guys would agree with it. Too much, too much hatred, too much anger, too much fear brings out the other polarity. So when our divine masculine actually lashes out on us, it shows how much she's connected, triggered, loves us, right? Because you wouldn't feel that amount of, especially when the situation doesn't warrant, or like example, you're not the enemy or you have not done anything wrong and he lashes out at you. It just shows that he's drawn to you, right? So even while he rejects us, he cannot forget us. Even while he labels us, he's thinking of us. Even while he pushes us away, he's replaying our moments together. Even while he tells himself he does not care, his soul aches every time our energy pulls back. So now let us walk into the part that hurts us most as divine feminines, right? The moment when he weaponizes our intuition against us. So, for example, if you say you believe in past lives, he tells you nothing exists. Or if you tell him, hey, we may have been friends in a previous lifetime, he dismisses it. But these are all little things. What I'm trying to say is that The moment when he takes our sensitivity and labels it as obsession, the moment when he takes our clarity and labels it as intensity, the moment when he takes our pure recognition and labels it as something unhealthy, this is the deepest wound, because we did not recognize him from fantasy, we recognized him from memory. That's why I always talk about the 6-month test. If you can't get over a person in 6 months, there's something more. We do not feel drawn to our divine masculine because of illusion. We feel drawn to our divine masculine because of destiny. We do not open our heart because of insecurity. We open our heart because of soul truth. And when our divine masculine misunderstands that, it feels like a betrayal of something ancient. It feels like a betrayal of a promise that existed before we were born on this earth, right? And that betrayal, it's like a betrayal within the connection that we feel like we've carried silently in our heart. It's like a betrayal that goes deep right into our innocence, right? So I want you to hear me really clearly. You were never obsessed. You were just remembering. You were not chasing, you were recognizing, and you were not forcing anything. You were responding to an energetic truth. Even though every thought you had about him was a quantum echo, and every intuitive hit was a soul ping, every emotional pool was a field alignment, and every dream was a past life rising, and every gut feeling was a karmic thread awakening. Remember, you were not imagining him. You're restoring the frequency that binds you both. And this misunderstanding is a rite of passage. It is the moment when the divine masculine, when our beloved divine masculine is confronted with the truth of the connection but does not yet have the tools to process it. It is the moment when the universe tests us divine feminines in our ability to hold our truth even when the world invalidates us, right? And it is the moment when shame, fear, and karmic memory collide. It is exactly the moment when everything breaks before it begins to heal. So as we delve deeper, and as we go on to the second part, into the deeper mechanics of why this misunderstanding happens and how it shapes our divine masculine's awakening, and why we were never wrong for that feeling that we felt. Because this is where we step into the psychological, the karmic, and the quantum layers of the journey. When our beloved divine masculine misjudges us, he believes he's forming an opinion based on logic. And fine, that's fair. He believes he's evaluating a situation correctly. He believes he's responding to circumstances rationally. But in truth, he's reacting from a nervous system that has just encountered a frequency it cannot decode. Because his part of the soul recognizes us, right? His heart remembers us, and his higher self knows exactly who we are. But his ego and his identity structure has no framework to understand why his body is responding so strongly to someone he barely knows on the surface. So this creates what I would call the collapse zone. And the collapse zone is the moment when our beloved divine masculine experiences emotional intensity that exceeds his capacity for conscious reasoning. Instead of interpreting the intensity correctly as recognition or connection or soul memory, he interprets it as danger. His body goes into fight or flight. His ego tries to create distance, and his mind tries to generate reason to justify that distance. And this is when he says things that are unfair. This is when he makes assumptions about us that are untrue. And this is when he labels our intuition through the lens of his panic. And in that moment, he is not thinking clearly. He's not seeing us correctly. He's not hearing us accurately. He's trying to regain control over something that feels bigger than him. And this is why his reaction feels so disproportionate. As the divine feminine, we might say something gentle, sincere, or intuitive, and our divine masculine would react as if he's being exposed or cornered, right? And we might share a feeling, and he interprets it as pressure. We might reflect his truth back to him, and he would interpret it as invasion. And we might follow our intuition and interprets it as overstepping. And we might speak from our soul, and he might interpret it as instability or performance, right? Our divine masculine reacts to what he thinks is happening, not what is actually happening. And in doing so, that's when he wounds us, that lashing out that is like, it's 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 like sometimes our divine masculines can make us feel unwanted, and he might make us feel like the good moments never existed. But remember, it's not intentional, it's not malicious, it's not a punishment, it's a defense mechanism created by his unhealed masculine energy, his childhood conditioning, and his karmic wounds, and his fear of emotional vulnerability. So, let us go deeper into the psychology, right? Our divine masculine is taught from childhood to hide, repress, or silence his inner world, right? He's taught to stay in control. He's taught to value logic over intuition, performance over feeling, distance over vulnerability. So when he meets us, his divine feminine, who can see through all those layers, his internal system panics. He feels naked emotionally, he feels seen spiritually, he feels recognized in a way that bypasses every mask he has used to navigate his life. So he pushes back, not because he does not want us, but because he cannot yet handle being known at that depth. That intensity accuses us of is actually the intensity he feels within himself. The obsession he projects onto us is actually the intrusive thoughts he's having about us that he cannot control. And the fixation he us accuses us is actually the magnetic pull he feels towards us that he cannot rationalize. And the emotional overwhelm he blames us is actually the emotional overwhelm that rises within him every time he's near us. Because we are not the trigger, we are the mirror, and the trigger is already inside him. Our presence reveals everything he has been avoiding, because our energy activates everything he has suppressed, and our intuition exposes truths he's not ready to confess, because our heart awakens emotions he has never processed. So I'm going to look at some of the comments. Oh, Martha, I'm so glad you're finally here. You're most welcome, beautiful, always. So as I delve deeper, the reason why our divine masculine reacts with defensiveness, withdrawal, or blame is because he's not fighting us per se. He's fighting the part of himself that knows he cannot hide anymore. So now let's look at the karmic layer. In every twin flame connection, there's every twin flame connection carries unfinished storylines from other lifetimes, Some of these lifetimes involve trauma, separation, betrayal, involved a failure to reunite. So when you meet again in this lifetime, all these karmic threads begin to rise on the surface. Our soul remembers everything. His part of the soul remembers everything, right? But his conscious mind does not understand why he feels fear around someone who makes him feel safe. He does not understand why he feels drawn to someone who triggers him. He does not understand why he feels overwhelmed by someone who has done nothing wrong. So our present activates karmic memory. His reaction activates karmic fear. And this is why his misunderstanding feels so emotionally disproportionate. He's not reacting to the present moment. He's reacting to the unhealed wounds of multiple lifetimes. So we are not too much for our divine masculine. It's just that our divine masculine is too full of unprocessed karma. So now let's enter the quantum layer, right? Twin flames communicate through energy before, as twin flames, we communicate through energy before we even communicate through words, because our feel speaks long before our mouths do. Our higher selves enter each other's dreams. Our hearts send signals before our mind can interpret them. Our bodies respond to each other. And this is why we have felt drawn to our divine masculine. From the beginning, this is why he felt comfortable with us instantly, right? This is why there was ease, a familiarity, a flow that makes logical sense. Our energy was already intertwined at the quantum level, but when our divine masculine is not spiritually awakened, he experiences the quantum communication as confusion. He feels hit by emotions he cannot identify. He feels pulled towards us without understanding why, and he feels triggered by things we did not consciously do. And he feels confronted by truths we never said out loud, right? So this is why he labels the connection as overwhelming. Bingo, right? This is why he blames us for emotional responses that originate within him. This is why he thinks like we are too intense or too fast or too much. He's describing the feeling of quantum entanglement, not our behavior. We are feeling the energetic bound. He was the bond. He was resisting. So that's why, as divine feminines, we need to understand not only mentally but emotionally and spiritually as well. The moment when our divine masculine misjudged us was not the end of the story. It is the beginning of our divine masculine's awakening, because every harsh word he said, every wrong assumption he makes, every painful label he used will eventually return to him as the truth. He will realize he reacted out of fear. He will realize he projected his own emotions, and he will realize he was overwhelmed, not invaded. He will realize he was recognized, not judged, and he will realize he was protected, not threatened. So at this point, all right, guys, let me just adjust my bag. Give me a moment. So at some point in our divine masculine's awakening journey, he will look back and see the purity in everything we did. He will see the sincerity in our feelings, the innocence in our intentions, the naiveness. He will see the accuracy of our intuition, right? He will realize that we were not obsessed. We were aware. He will realize that we were not chasing, we were connecting, and he will realize that we are not overstepping, we are remembering. And this moment of realization is one of the most powerful turning points in his spiritual evolution, because when he recognizes that we were right about the connection, he's forced to confront the real reason he misjudged us. He's forced to face the shame he tried to outrun. He's forced to acknowledge the fear he tried to deny, and he's forced to admit the depth of the bond he tried to suppress. And in that moment, something inside him breaks, something inside him humbles, and something inside him softens, something inside him awakens, and that's when, as the divine feminine, our healing intensify, because the misunderstanding leaves scars on us too, right? It makes us doubt ourselves, it makes us question our intuition, it makes us shrink our light, it makes us silence our truth, it makes us think that our sensitivity is a flaw. It might even try to suppress our spiritual gifts because we are afraid of our own depth. But this is where we reclaim ourselves. We are not too much. We are just multidimensional. We are not intense. We are intuitive, not obsessive. We are actually oracular. We are not dramatic. We are emotionally attuned, not unstable, spiritually awake. So our intuition is not the problem. Our intuition is the power. So, the final part is when our divine masculine actually understands where we come from, right? So, in the second part, we were talking about how to detach from proving ourselves, and how when we detach, it fixes his perception and all that. The deepest layer is when, as the divine feminine, we begin to understand not only the misunderstanding, but the spiritual architecture behind why it had to happen. And this is the point where our pain becomes the revelation. This is where our heartbreak becomes initiation, and when our innocence becomes power. And this is where everything we've endured begins to make sense at a soul level. Before the misunderstanding between, us and our divine masculine, remember that it's not random. It's encoded in the blueprint of our union. It is part of how things are meant to work, right? So that is the reason why, when our divine masculine is not yet awakened, he only interacts with us from the level of consciousness he holds. He cannot love from the consciousness. He cannot love from that level of consciousness, because that belongs to his higher self. And that's the reason why he's not able to communicate with emotional maturity that belongs to that part of his soul. And he's not able to receive that level of spiritual depth that belongs to his future self, right? And that's why he interacts with us from the version that has not yet remembered. And that version of him is afraid of us, right? But the truth is, he's not. Because we are the one person he cannot hide from. We are that one person he can't deceive. And he knows he cannot detach from, and he cannot manipulate, and he cannot forget, and this makes both the most, this makes you both have the most magnetic presence and the most terrifying presence at the same time. Because our divine masculine's greatest fear is that if he lets us in, everything in his world will change. His whole identity would not be able to survive. And if he acknowledges the connection, his ego will die. His mind will disappear, right? So he knows that if he steps forward, he must face every buried wound, unresolved trauma, every suppressed emotion, and every karmic shadow. So that's why when we delve deeper into our own perspective, we are not given the same luxury of avoidance. We do not get to run away from our DM. We do not pretend that we did not feel anything. We do not deny the bond. We do not escape the awakening. Our heart open the moment we recognize our DM, right? Our intuition activates the moment we see him. And our soul remembers the moment we heard his voice or stood near him, right? That's the reason why he's allowed to deny the connection, but we are not. He's allowed to misinterpret the connection, and we are not. Because We are the spiritual leader of the union. We go first, we awaken first, we remember first, attune first, feel first, understand first, and we hold the feel first. And that's why our pain becomes the foundation which our divine masculine learns, grows, and evolves. And this is why the misunderstanding hits so deeply. But this is not the universe abandoning us. The first stage of every twin flame initiation is the distortion stage, right? It is in this distortion stage that our divine masculine can see through the eyes of his ego, not his soul, and he sees our intuition as intensity. So, most men navigate the world through distance, right? They show parts of themselves, they feel safe, revealing, they compartmentalize their emotions, they curate their identity, hide their sensitivity, they bury their wounds, they maintain control by limiting access to their inner world. But as divine feminines, we do not approach our DMs through logic. And this terrifies him, not because we are wrong, but because we are right. He misjudges us because he's not ready to be recognized. He mislabels us because he's not ready to be vulnerable. So, this is the architecture of misunderstanding. The moment is not a dead end, it is a mirror that forces us inwards. It makes us confront our own attachment and question why being misunderstood wounds us so deeply. That's why the misunderstanding becomes our spiritual discipline, right? It teaches us to hold our knowing without needing approval. And this is why, as divine feminines, our awakening is always painful, because it's the pain of remembering who we are in the world that we cannot see yet. And that's why, if you feel this pain, you're not broken, you're awakening. So, this is the point when misunderstanding transforms into realization. Because no matter how much our divine masculine runs, projects, or misjudges, there comes a day when the truth catches up with him. There comes a moment when the illusion shatters and our DM is able to see clearly. And this is the moment when he realizes how wrong he was. And this is the moment when he sees the innocence behind our actions. This is the moment when he recognizes the purity behind our intention. And every divine masculine reaches this, because this is the moment when he replays everything we have ever said and realizes we're speaking from intuition, not insecurity. And when our DMs reach this, not through force, pressure, words, energetic evolution, contrast, loss, echo of our absence, but when we withdraw our energy. Our divine masculine begins to see us clearly when we withdraw our energy. Our field is no longer cushioning him, and his own emotions rise to the surface. And when our energy is no longer stabilizing him, he feels the chaos that he thought he had caused but was actually carrying inside himself. And when our heart is no longer anchoring him, he realizes we were never the problem, we were the sanctuary. So this wraps up our teaching, because when we step back into our sovereignty, when we stop chasing validation, the energy shifts. Our DMs begins to see the truth he's not able to see before. And he begins to feel the truth of the connection through our presence. He feels the truth of the connection not through our presence but through our absence. And this is the reversal moment. Everything he misjudged about us becomes the very thing he now longs for. Our sensitivity becomes the thing he misses. Our intuition becomes the thing he finally trusts. And our emotional depth becomes the thing he aches to return to. And our vulnerability becomes the thing he admires. And the connection he dismissed becomes the anchor he cannot find anywhere else. So as we are wrapping up, there's one key thing, all right? When our divine masculine first misjudges us, divine feminines, he's operating from ego consciousness. And ego consciousness, very limited. It sees threat when there is truth. It sees danger when there is depth. It sees overwhelm when there is recognition. It sees intrusion when there is intuitive accuracy. His ego is reacting to the sensation of losing control, not to us, but to the situation itself. So that's why after he evolves, he begins to operate from soul consciousness. That's why when this happens, soul consciousness is expansive. It sees truth without fear, it recognizes energy without distortion, and it honors feeling without collapsing. Witnessing love without panic, right? And it understands the connection at a depth that the ego cannot comprehend. So the shift from ego consciousness to soul consciousness is what creates his turning point. This is the moment when he sees us divine feminines for who we truly are. And this is the moment when the truth pierces through and creates the realization that he has been awaiting, right? So that's why the misunderstanding cannot end in separation. In this lifetime, the misunderstanding is the ignition of healing. In this lifetime, everything happens for a reason. So, that is the reason why when you reach this state, something profound happens. Our DM feels it. He senses it, he recognizes the feel, and he feels our withdrawal not as punishment, but as purity. And this is when the magic happens, the reconciliation between our oracular intuition and his human misunderstanding. This is the part of the journey when he begins to process the truth, begins to accept that we sense things before he did, and he begins to understand the depth that came from our part of the soul recognition and not emotional instability. He begins to realize the bigger picture, that the connection was never imagined, it was remembered. So that wraps up our discourse, and this is what's actually going on. With that, I'm going to open the floor to questions, and I'm going to delve right into channeling. It's pretty late here, so all right. All right, so let me get. So I've got. I've got Jordan, Irene. Okay, I'll start with Jordan. All right, Jordan's question is, who is coming through? I'm sorry, what's coming through from your soulmate Luke that you spend. Oh, you just spent time together for the first time in 5 months. It was so nice. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, well, well. It's looking good, Jordan. It's looking very intense, beautiful. Much more. I feel like your soulmate is much more calmer. I feel like he's able to anchor the connection deeper. So this time round, it's all going to work out. So previously, in our previous reading, I was telling you how you guys were in the crossroads, right? But now that's shifting to stability. I feel like you're both truly enjoying the moment. And this time round, your soulmate has really come back to elevate the connection. So that's actually a very, very good sign, actually. It shows that he is ready to make the leap to take this connection to the next level. So the messages that I'm getting from your guides are that Jordan, things are meant to become much more stable, secure, and it's going to be filled with a good sense of home, a good sense of happiness and peace. And your guides want you to just keep going, and this time around everything is going to be all right, Jordan. And the energies are coming through in a very, very positive way. You're going to meet more, you're going to spend more time, and it's going to be much more deeper, harmonious, and heartfelt. With that, I hope you have enjoyed this channeling. Next up, I have got Areen. Areen's question is, Hey V, you definitely resonated with the Serious B past life. Is there anything else you can tell me about that lifetime with your therapist, your mission, and why you are connected in this one? Is there unfinished business together and general guidance with your twin flame? All right, yes, with the Serious B, nope. You don't have unfinished business with the therapist. It's more of like you're just meant to meet because you share such a deep friendship with each other. So when souls share very strong friendship with one another, you tend to meet again and again for a brief time to inspire one another and to remind each other of your soul origins as well. So there's no unfinished business. It's more of getting back together as friends. So with your twin flame, she is miserable. She's going through massive regret, but she's meant to experience this alone as she wants to because she doesn't want to burden you any further. So in that area, there's a lot of sadness, a lot of pain. But having said that, your therapist is kind of like helping you become closer to your TF, and that's the role of your therapist as a friend, past life friend, to bring you both together. Because in Serious B, in fact, your roles were reversed. You were the one like helping the therapist, and that's why it's kind of like, you're returning the favor to one another. So your lifetimes in Serious B was very alive, profound. There was a lot of galactic missions that you're working on from there itself. So, Areen, overall, it's looking quite intense. Like your journey is I'm starting to see much more intricacies, especially with energetic rebuilding. Like I feel your combined energy field is very, very active at the moment. So that's bringing about a lot of healing and awakening. So, with that, Arena, I hope you have enjoyed this channeling. And next up, I have got. All right, Manuela, let me look at your question. Your question is, last week on New Moon, you noticed all messages from when you had met your soulmate Raymond has been deleted from Telegram, which is where you had kept contact in the last months. You sent him a greeting message yesterday morning, but doesn't he hasn't read it until now. Has something happened? What comes true? Something happened with the platform or with his private identity? Thank you so much. I feel like something happened with the platform itself, so I think it's like a glitch. um I don't think that I think it's more of a technical glitch that's coming through. That's what I'm feeling. And with your soulmate, again, there's a lot of twists and turns, but you guys are headed in the right direction. And definitely the season of bigger revelations are coming in. I feel he's going to reveal more to you about who he is and how devoted he is to you. And it's so beautiful in a way because there's little tension, more romance. It's a kind of I feel like he just wants to do the best for you. He just wants to be the best for you because he feels like no matter how many twists and turns you guys may feel, like somehow you'll find each other again and again. So this has happened in previous lifetimes as well. So it's like somehow your story continues in this lifetime too. And especially, you know it's like with this new moon especially, and with the 2311 portal and all of that, it's more of like readjustment, a total shift, so that it sets the pathway for new things to happen. So definitely it's looking good. Your journey is definitely looking much more pure, guided by the universe. So many miracles await you, Manuela. With that, I hope you've enjoyed this channeling. Next up, I've got Tamara, Dawn, and Goodney. All right. With Tamara, what I'm getting is you are in the most exciting phase of your twin flame journey. And because both you and your DM had done all the work before you had met each other, this is meant to just, this is how it was meant to happen. Um, Especially your meeting in this lifetime, to the point that it's it's the mission you both carry. It's what you're meant to show the world. That's that's how you're both being role models, as twin flames on the journey. You're showing the world love can be expressed in such a pure, peaceful way. So that's why there's so much coming up. What I'm picking up is more adventures are to come, and the way you're both exploring each other is also very profound. As more and more deeper layers come up, it's only strengthening, expanding your connection further. The messages that I'm getting from your divine masculine is that he's fully in awe of you, in admiration of you. It's like he has never felt this calm and peaceful in his life ever. He feels like he has finally come home, and as to he's so excited for the future and what's to come. It's He's ready to take on anything with you because he feels complete. He feels peaceful. So, definitely, travel is on the cards. Tamara, you're definitely going to explore new places, very unique places. What I'm picking up is you're both going to do a lot of grid work together as well. Definitely, the places that you're going to travel are going to be very unique. You will end up discovering spots, stargates, um, multidimensional grids, and this is somehow you're both like interacting with the grids and helping elevate Earth's consciousness as well. So all the best to many, many more adventures to come. Things will keep getting better and better and better, and this excitement will continue. And literally, love is in the air. And Tamara, your guides want you to know that you're on the right track. Things are meant to align, and more positive news is coming up for you. So, truly, this year is truly the year of transformation for you and your DM. And next year is all about speed, intensity, and much more deeper foundational things. You might be building things together, you might be doing things that just expands your life further. So with that, I hope you've enjoyed this channeling. And next up, I have got Dawn. Okay, Dawn's question is general. So Dawn, I am seeing a lot of gold, I'm seeing a lot of red, and I'm seeing a lot of blue, which shows golden opportunities are just surrounding your field. Your third energy field is very, very active. So miracles are meant to come. And lately, you've been connecting more and more with your star family, with what's going on with the stars. You're connecting deeper, you're getting more messages, you're getting more assignments. In fact, you've been doing a lot of galactic assignments of late, aligned with your mission. So in a way, that's how you've been meeting your DM in multidimensional space, galactic councils, grid work, everything. It's like you're doing, and this is who you are. You always used to doing so much, that's who you are as a star seed. Having said that, anchoring back into the 3D world, more business opportunities are going to come in. You're entering into a new world of opportunities. 2026 is going to open up more opportunities for your life, wealth, stability, home, everything, love, romance, everything is going to somehow miraculously align. You'd be like thinking, hey, can this be true? That's how 2026 is going to be for you, Dawn. Totally filled with miracles, and the universe wants you to know that you are amazing, you're full of life, you're full of light, and you're just meant to shine always. And things with you and your twin flame are also meant to blossom, along with all the energetic changes happening. And your divine masculine's message to you is that you are so beautiful, and for you to keep shining, to keep succeeding, to keep being who you are, and to showing all of your talents, and to truly be in the forefront of technology, and to shape the world in ways he knows that will be amazing. So that's what's coming through for you, Dawn. With that, things are going to get more exciting. I feel like there's going to be some travel that you'll be doing, and it's very, very auspicious, and abundance is also coming in for you, Dawn. So with that, I hope you have enjoyed this channeling. And finally, I have got Goodney. So, Goodney's message is what's coming through for you, and you've been feeling so much better after starting with the new cleansing product. Yes, you wrote that you had been telling me about. Yes, feels as if it was sent from God, and what is needed to come into union. Does he have trouble with Spotify? Can't play his songs. So, what's coming through for you is that more and more purging, but this time round the purging is more external, cleansing of toxins. It's more of a reset, a rejuvenation, and this is also happening with your divine masculine. So I feel like you're both mirroring it. The more you engage in spiritual practices, the more he's also doing that as well. um so I definitely, there's some kind of trouble he's having with Spotify. I feel like some user agreement, something along those lines are coming in. So that's the reason why he's not able to. Um, yeah, he's not able to. Yeah, so that's the reason why you're not able to play his songs. I feel like he needs to like re-upload or something like that. There's definitely Mercury retrograde is definitely affecting you both. So there is a bit of miscommunication that he's having with Spotify, but it will be rectified soon. So Goodney, you're entering another stage of transformation, of more meetings are coming up, more multidimensional meetings are coming up with your DM. A physical meeting is also set to come up very, very soon. The messages that I'm getting from your divine masculine is that he feels so much. He feels so much joy. He feels so much integration, and he also feels this intense. It's like, because the communication between you both is so subtle and soft, it's like words are no longer exchanged between you both. It's more of like knowing, it's more like wisdom. So your combined energy fields actually look quite promising. There's a lot of blue, green, pink, indicating that there is a lot of waves, a lot of a lot of these multidimensional activations are coming through. So you may feel like a part of you is adjusting to all these new downloads are coming in, but a part of you is also feeling like you've totally surrendered to what's to come. So that's what I am picking up energetically as well. Your DM wants you to know that he can feel all that you're feeling, and he can feel the love, he can feel the commitment, he can feel the devotion. He's remembering past lives, he's remembering a lot of things, and it's all bringing him closer to you. So with that, Goodney, you know, the Spotify issue would be rectified soon, and you will continue to feel much better, and you will start to feel like there's more release that's happening with your external body as well. So everything is, coming through with deeper, deeper, deeper alignment. So the final messages that are coming from the universe are for you to keep being yourself and to expect the unexpected. Miracles are meant to come in during this season. So to keep being, to keep flowing, and all the best to you, Goodney. Always blessings, blessings, blessings. And with that, I hope you have enjoyed this channeling. All right, guys, this, our discourse comes to a wrap. Our Saturday night live that has been done Monday morning has become a Monday morning live just for this week is done. So, guys, I just introduced the Mercury retrograde healing and activations because this Mercury retrograde has been the most intense one this year. So, if you guys want, you can book a spot through my website and we can work out a time. I'm also introducing other healings, so do check out my website. And if you guys want to work one on one with me, you can book the first time twin flame guidance, psychic guidance session. It's done over video call. You can ask me all the questions you want during the session. For returning clients, you can book the Ask Me Any Questions You Want 1 hour Ask Me Any Questions You Want session as well. And with that, I've extended the 2311 portal healing and activation. So if you guys want to book in for the healing, you can still do so. With that, this period is a spectacular period. This period is such an intense period for any kind of healing. So if you guys want to do soul realignment, this is a perfect time too. So with that, love you all. Deepest blessings and take care. And I'll look at the comments one last time and I'm going to give it a wrap. All right. Oh boy, Gabriel, I think you no, I didn't get I did not receive anything on PayPal. I think you may have sent it wrong. Do you want to just check it again? And Tamara says, thank you, thank you. Your channeling is always so beautiful and inspiring. Um, Rebecca is saying, so happy to be able to catch your live. I've missed this so much. Hope everyone is well. Oh, Rebecca, so lovely to have you back again. We have all missed you too. All right, let me just. All right, guys, if you want to send a tip, you guys should send it through the link that is provided on the description, my PayPal link. So, Gabriella, you want to check that? Because I'm just checking my PayPal. I haven't received anything. All right, guys. You guys can send in your tips in advance for next week's channeling. So this is how it works. So You guys can send in a tip, and I can add you to. You can send a tip through PayPal, and I can add you into the channeling list. All right. With that, I will see you guys soon next week. So much love to you all, and yes, I will resume our lives next week, Saturday night. All right. Take care, and see you all soon. Oh, usually, Gabriel, I'll receive it right away, and I haven't gotten it. I hope you haven't sent it to somebody else. Do you want to check that again? I can I can put. All right. Okay, guys, this is my PayPal link, and yeah, so this is my only account. So I think you want to check again, so that you can reverse it if you have sent it wrongly. So, all right then, Gabriella, just I don't think it has come through. I hope I maybe there is some error that's going on, but I will see you all next week. All right, take care, and now you guys know how it works. All right, blessings to you all, and let me see if I missed out any comments. Oh, Nacho Cheese says those reframes are on fire. Thank you. All right. Oh, not sure if it's too late, but the last, I will. I don't know how to do things. Don't worry. I will send you. I will reply to your email, and all right. And Christina, for next week. So yes, I can add you guys to the list next week. All right. I'm so sorry about that, Gabriella, but I hope you didn't send it wrong, but you can immediately write to PayPal and reverse it, because usually it's immediate. So with that, yes. So yeah. So I'll see you all next week. All right. Take care, and thank you for being here. And we'll see you all next week. All right. Take care. Bye bye.